from the sun.co.uk. NATO would crush weak Russia and Putin knows it.
Oh my
That's why we are not on the cusp of World War III, says UK defense chief. Well, okay.
I think we look pretty weak and pathetic, frankly.
Oh, today we just saw that the army is down
24,000
24,000 people or something like that.
No, jobs. They're cutting the jobs because there's no people to fill them.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're just getting rid of the... And I'm not sure what the jobs are, obviously. I don't have like the inside track on it. But 24,000 people...
jobs in the army.
24,000 people out of... I mean, your volunteer army is less than 1 million now.
Mm-hmm. And they can't get guys because they hate white people, and white people are typically the ones who join the military.
I think that's wrong. I think there's a large population base from which to pull to fill those jobs.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about all of this
that is a pathway to citizenship traditionally.
Can you imagine?
They have that bill.
Yeah.
It's in play. Yeah. Courage to serve.
This type of rhetoric that we're hearing right now, we'll crush Russia, this and that. During the Cold War, we were very careful about the language that we used as it related to the Soviet Union at that time.
I remember, Ronald Reagan would set people like their hair on fire. They were like, "What did he say?" Wigging out.
And guess what? They have basically the same amount of nuclear weapons then as they did now, slightly less. They actually have more strategic nukes than we do. Thanks, Obama, for the START treaty.
And then it fell apart.
Yeah. Thanks for that one.
And it's if I believe them anyway, when they're like, yeah, we'll take apart our nukes, put them in the back.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing when they were redoing that treaty is that it addressed strategic nuclear weapons and not tactical. And they have like a 10-to-1 advantage on us on tactical nukes on the European border.
And so explain the difference. We're talking about like nuclear artillery and battlefield nuclear weapons.
Right. So it has to deal with so the size of the weapon and then also how far it can go. So think about an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBMs. Those are strategic nukes. They typically have MIRV technology, multiple independent reentry vehicles, so they'll break into different warheads and target different cities.
One MIRV can hit the entire eastern seaboard.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the
That's crazy. And they've got what, like thousands of them?
Yeah, I mean they have like close to 20,000.
Of MIRVs though?
Warheads. Strategic nuclear warheads.
Right. The MIRV specifically, I think it holds between 8 and 12.
Yeah, it can hold up to 12. Yeah. And tactical though is artillery pieces and things like that.
Like 100 kiloton?
Yeah, something like that.
It's crazy.
With one MIRV, they can do like a lot of bombing, but their actual operating procedure, if I understand correctly, is to have multiple nukes go to the same target because they want to make sure that it gets wiped out.
The crazy thing too is they do not detonate on impact.
No.
They detonate over the city to maximize the blast radius.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It's
because thermonuclear weapons really comes down to heat.
Yeah.
Right. It's about vaporizing.
The crazy thing is, I learned this. I did something. This video for Discovery like 10 years ago, almost now, and the radiation in nuclear weapons is intentional. They do not need to leave nuclear fallout behind. There are nuclear weapons that have low radioactive yield. However, they were like, we kind of want to make the land inhospitable for, decades to thousands of years. So.
Yeah, I think thermonuclear weapons actually have less fallout than like a fission weapon versus the fusion weapon. The fusion weapon has
Remember when New York did that duck and cover drill a couple of years ago? Like,
was it years? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. They were like, if there's a nuclear explosion in New York City, stick towels under your doors, cover your windows, and duck and cover. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, why are they telling us to do this?
You're
like, well, listen, my friends, I got to tell you something. If you're living in a city and you haven't bought chickens by this point, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah, probably a better drill would be put your head between your legs, kiss it goodbye.
Kiss it goodbye.
Hold on, but a better drill right now would be get away from high priority targets and buy chickens.
Yes.
Now you probably want some goats. You got to learn how to do all that stuff. We just sent a good portion of Cocktown to let's just say to Rooster University. So we're having the first annual Timcast's first annual Cockfest on Friday.
Damn.
Where we are all going to enjoy consuming the roosters. That's right. They're all dead.
Wow.
Put them.
We spared 3 of them.
Come to snuff the rooster.
Come to stuff.
What kind of dishes are you going to make?
All cock.
We're gonna do chili, pulled barbecue rooster, and I think we're gonna do some like just regular rooster. You got to cook it a special way.
Yeah,
'cause it's
you
tough
could
meat.
do coq au vin, which is
It's
great.
tough meat.
It's like braised, like this French braised.
I'll come by and have some rooster.
It's really good.
I was just excited to let everybody know that we've butchered them. 3 of them have survived. It's Mr. Mutton Chops. He got to live because he escaped several times.
Nice.
And so we honored his strength and resilience.
Showed some promise.
Pom Pom, who is this massive poofy rooster who's goofy, really goofy looking. And we're like, well, you can't kill him. And then Roberto Jr. is one of his sons because RB3, Roberto Beeks III, is the current heir to the throne. However, it would
We
be
got to keep the
Roberto
legacy
Beeks.
going.
Roberto Beeks III is the current heir. Roberto Sr. is still alive. Roberto Jr. died, he had a heart attack, and the risk is if Roberto Beeks III passes, then the bloodline is broken.
Yeah.
So we had to keep at least one of his brothers alive.
Bloodlines.
Yeah, we can't let the bloodline break. I mean, Roberto Jr. is he was the prince who became king, and he died.
He's the legacy rooster.
But all joking aside, the serious question is, I don't know how many stories need to be placed on news headlines in major publications screaming at the top of their lungs. You've got Germany, Sweden, you've got China, you've got Australia, all these countries talking about civilian defense forces. You've got Houthi rebels bombing cargo ships in the Red Sea, shutting down the majority of global shipping traffic. You've got Israel, Hamas. You've got China, Taiwan. You've got Putin saying he will use nukes. You've got France saying we will send in troops to defeat you. You've got Chuck Schumer saying, we must win this war. And now you have another story from the Telegraph. I don't know if I have it pulled up. They said, we have to win before November. Otherwise, World War III will officially begin. Surprise, surprise. Just in time for the election. But with all of these headlines, at a certain point, a person might put down their pretense and say, maybe prepping's not so bad.
Look, I'm not going to get super involved in telling people what to do or anything, but the dollar is only becoming less valuable if you buy things that last and that you can use in emergency situations and stuff. You're getting the most out of your money. If you don't own guns and ammo, at this point, I mean,
okay,
come on,
Phil. Bezos, Zuckerberg, selling off billions in stock.
Yeah.
I think Zuckerberg did billions. It might have been. I think it was billions. You've got Quiver Quantitative posted this video where they talk about, I believe it's Senator Tuberville. Is it senator or is it congressman?
A senator.
How he's got a great track record in Congress, and all of a sudden he started selling a whole bunch of stocks. There's no pattern. He's just dumping stocks. So you got to wonder about what is going on that's making these
And what they
powerful
know.
elites.
Yeah,
and Zuckerberg building a bunker in Hawaii with Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
He's got Wagyu cattle he's raising in Hawaii. Look, we've been getting stories for a while about the ultra wealthy building these underground bunkers. And I'm like, guys, you've got them saying we will send NATO into Ukraine, which is a full-scale declaration of war with Russia. Russia saying if we are threatened, we will use nukes. Maybe they're all lying. Fine, whatever. Then don't buy your chickens. I'll buy the rest of them. And if, push comes to shove and the ish hits the fan, I will be living in a van down by the river with some chickens being raised just, outside, and I will be eating them.
In a van down by the river.
That's right. Look, I got a van. It's solar. It's got solar power. We haven't used it in years. It's just been sitting. We get it tuned up every once in a while. We're going to redo all of it. I talked about this on the Joe Rogan show with Dorsey. I was like, if you guys keep doing this, then tensions in this country are going to boil over. I'm going to build a van and have that thing ready to go live down by the river. And when the world falls apart and the cities are in decay and the urban liberals are eating each other quite literally because there's no food or water, I'm going to be sitting in a van playing Spelunky on a little TV, with air conditioning.
There you go. And to Phil's point, if you don't own firearms, go get some ammo. I mean, and to Tim's point, look, for me, look, I hunt every season. I'm able to harvest a ton of venison. Usually lasts me close to a year sometimes. We're still eating through it. It's wonderful. It's very healthy. Everybody goes to Whole Foods for, grass-fed, organic, blah, blah, blah. These guys, deers are that. And
There's too many of them.
And it's free. And there's too many of them.
Yeah, we had like 20 on our lawn last year. It was nuts. And I'm like, what are we gonna do about
That'll
this?
only last for one season, though.
Yeah.
One season, there's too many. The next season, good luck finding a deer.
Yeah,
Really?
like
I mean, they'll get wiped out. Think about how many
they
people
will
are
go
around
extinct.
here. Yeah,
They will go extinct.
They get wiped out instant, like within, because you're going to have a certain amount of people that are going to actually know how to harvest them properly and stuff like that. And then there's going to be literally, a ton of people that are starving that are just, that are going to waste a ton of meat and stuff because they don't know what to do. So they'll kill it and chop the legs off and be like, oh, I got something for now, and
That's not how that works.
Go get those back straps first. But
but yeah, like the thing is, like, now it's like the world is still functioning. Get prepared for bad times while you can. People so frequently say, oh, well, you don't need this or you don't need to do that, or I'll worry about it later. It's like, look, the time to prepare is when everything's fine.
Well, it's classic. It's the ant and the grasshopper. It's the classic fable.
It's going to be really funny when there's like, when. Let's say war breaks out, the economy breaks down, social order is shattered to a certain degree, and you end up with like, a farm out in, central West Virginia somewhere where it's not too hilly or whatever. They've created a fort around their property where they're growing a lot of crops. They've got maybe like 100 people there. And then one day comes a knock on the door. Some wary travelers, and the guards are like, who's there? And they're like, we're travelers, we're hungry, and we're looking for a place we can do work. And he looks down and he sees a young Zem and a Zer, and he's like, and what skills do you have? And one's like, I'm an Instagram influencer, and the other one's like, I write movie reviews for BuzzFeed, and he's gonna be like, get back, and he's gonna ring the bell like, they're here, and then they're gonna chase him off. I'm half kidding, but I mean, like, in all seriousness, these city people are going to have, most of them have nothing of value to provide, and they won't have the physical capability to even lift rocks.
I mean, think about this. I heard this the other day. I was talking to one of these gas companies, and they've got these new laws in New York as it relates to gas stoves and blah 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 blah.
I hate that so much. It's so stupid.
It's insane. So just Manhattan alone, if those pilot lights went out, it would take 6 months to relight all of them. Jesus,
that sounds about right.
6 months just
when
in
I lived
Manhattan
in Brooklyn,
alone.
I had a gas stove in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I always had a gas stove everywhere I lived in New York City. Several different apartments, always gas stove.
Now they're banning them.
No, they're banning them.
Dude, look.
I don't like it.
The people
cook with fire. Just cook with fire. It's better.
The people who live in these cities are living on the good graces of farmers.
Yes.
And and so long as farmers agree to sell their food to the cities, you'll have order. But if at any point farmers got super political and they're just like, we don't sell to you because it's gonna end up down the chain and end up in New York City. If truckers decide to stop sending in New York City, I mean, the politics in this country can change overnight. If truckers, just the majority of truckers were like, we don't deliver to New York and Chicago and LA.
Well, it's pretty interesting because I spent most of my life living in the coast, right? And so in Boston and New York and Philadelphia, you go to the grocery store and you buy spinach, and your spinach is really fresh and it has dirt on the roots. And now I live out here in West Virginia, and I love living out here. But when I go to the grocery store, my spinach mostly is in packages. And I don't understand why my spinach is in packages in the middle of the country.
Could it be that they don't grow spinach here and they do grow it there?
Well, maybe they do, but they don't grow spinach in Boston either.
Yeah, but they'll pay a premium.
Do they?
Spinach in Boston?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people in cities will pay more money.
People will have, hydroponic farms and things like that. Like there's hydroponic farms all over Brooklyn, but those will mostly just go to like the little commie co-ops anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be price
But it's not
related,
just
though.
spinach. It's lots of stuff comes in packages here, and it doesn't come in packages in New York. And I think it's because it gets shipped in.
Yeah.
And there's Jersey. Like Jersey isn't much further from here. You know, South Jersey where all the farms are.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.